it, so never mind. Okay. Wonder what that's all about. Thank you for sharing and liking. You know what I'm missing? I'm missing that energy container. That energy containment fetish. Not gonna get anything done without that. Welcome Priya, welcome back. Great to have you back. I remember we did a spell for you last week, but I've forgotten all about it. You know, that's how spells work. You fire and forget. You record it so you can go back and make sure, well, you can go back and read it and remember, oh yeah, I actually cast a spell for this thing that just manifested into my life. Yeah, I'm okay, I'm good. Spending the day trying to focus on all the things that I'm grateful for so that I don't get caught up on all the things that I don't have yet, that I still want. All the things I do have. Excuse me for a moment. Where's my brain? And God bless you too. Thank you for the blessings. I count every blessing. you're doing well. Welcome back, Ali. Thank you for joining me again. Glad to hear you're okay and you're doing well, Priya. And welcome back, Shilpa. Nice to see you again. Thank you for your consistent viewage and support. Hey, Jelena. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me today. And my day, yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm just trying to focus on all the things that I'm grateful for and all the things that have manifested into my life that I've asked the universe for, that I've received, so that I don't get too caught up on the things that I still want and that I'm still waiting for. Ali says, please a spell of love on myself. Awesome. So is that love for yourself, or do you want to like beautify yourself and be attractive, or do you want to attract healthy relationship? And then Tasha Nolson, we're not doing readings today. As the title says, this is a spellcasting stream, so if you want to, if you have any desires you want to manifest into your life, let me know and we will help you do that. Thank you, Ali. I am doing pretty well. Hope the same applies to you. And Vivek, nice to have you back. Thank you for joining us again. I remember your spell last time was something to do with husband and work, so it is very inadvisable to cast again for the same thing. Yeah, you power the spell once. It shouldn't be done again, because the amount of power that goes into it might be less the second time, if you get what I'm saying. If you've already done it once and now you've got doubts and fears about it, and then you charge again with that, it's counterintuitive. Better to just wait a few weeks, wait a few months. Yes, thank you, Jelena. It's nice to see you, and I'm so glad that you're in the stream today. Shilpa says, my parents should accept me to get married to M. Can you do a spell? Of course. So guys, type hashtag KO to join the queue. And I know how many requests there are. And Jelena, you're most welcome to a spell. Ali says, I haven't cast a spell before. Amazing. So this will be your first time. I'm excited for you. Welcome, Priya Rathor, sorry. Got two Priyas in the stream. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? And Queen of Cups, welcome. And yes, of course, we're doing whatever you want to manifest. So yeah, type hashtag KO to join the queue, guys. And Shilpa is asking for a spell to ensure marriage. Jelena wants a love spell. So I'm going to scroll back up and see how many we've got here, because I think I've got space for like 10 or possibly 20. Let me see here. How many did I set out for today? And I do them in pairs. I take 2 at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 12. We've got 12 spells today. So I'm scrolling up to see how many chaots we have. We have 1 chaot for Priya, 1 chaot for Jelena, 1 carat for Shilpa, 1 carat for Queen of Cups. Ah, where's my brain? I didn't count them, I just spoke them out loud. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Queen of Cups, yeah, you're in. You're in for sure. We got 5. Ah, and Jennifer Kennedy, that makes 6. Amazing. Jelena says it's strange to see you without your scarf. You know, I seldomly wear that scarf lately because of the weather. Only when it's raining or when it's nighttime, then I put it on. Okay, so I'm gonna name the first two, the first pair that I'm gonna work with, and then I'm gonna consult with you guys. So the first pair is Priya and Ali. Okay, so Priya, I'm not so sure what it was that you asked me, sorry. Will you confirm for me what your desire is? Then I will give you a affirmation. I'll put an affirmation down for you. So let me talk a little bit about what we're actually doing, what a Servitor is. It's a program, basically. It's an executable program. You know, you got an exe file on your desktop and you execute it by pressing enter on it or double clicking on it, and then it executes the code and something happens. So it's kind of like that. We're gonna observe. Right, I'm gonna need your month, by the way, guys. That's something I require from you. The month of your birth, date and month, so I know what your element is. Then I'll take that element and it'll give me a picture of where you are and who you are. And then I'll roll this dice to get you a key on how you accomplish the means. So you visualize your outcome. We gather that psychic residue. We gather psychic residue from you and who you are and where you currently are, what your present state of reality is. Then we cast the dice to get a key based on your element, what will work for you as an individual, a means to get to your outcome. And all of these things together, it's quite a lot to focus on and quite a lot to think about. So we bring it all down to a single point of focus, and we apply energy and emotional energy to that point of focus. Yeah, and every time that you see it, every time that you think about it, visualize it, you're giving more power and energy to that outcome and that means and that shift. So Priya Rathore and Ali are the first pair. Dr. Priya Ratne, please type #KO to join the queue. Shane Walker, welcome back. We're not doing readings today, we're casting spells. Awesome. So Priya Rathore wants a government job this year. And Ali, what is your desire? Shane Walker is in the queue. So before I put down an affirmation for you, Priya, is that really what you want? Is that something that you're certain that you want? A government job, and you don't want some other form of income or some other form of work. You really want a government job. Just confirming that. And then Ali, I'm waiting for your desire so I can put an affirmation down for you. healthy long-term relationship with a man who loves me very much. Beautiful. So Priya, you are an earth sign. What is my affirmation going to be for you? I am an ideal candidate for municipal and government employment. So I want you to say that, Priya Rathore. I am an ideal candidate for municipal and government employment. So mote it be. Saying it out loud, just by the way. So now, once you've said that out loud, I want you to think for a moment. Visualize what it looks like. Visualize having emails sent to you by government departments looking for you because they have seen your resume on some employment website, or you've sent resumes and what's the other word? Resumes, and it doesn't matter. I'm just going to use that word, resume, to various government application. Wherever you've seen application forms, you fill them in and you've sent them. Imagine receiving an email. Try and put yourself in the position of the official who receives and sends those emails, the PA or the secretary who receives them. Imagine she's reading your report and thinking, my, this is the perfect candidate. I think I'm going to get back to this one. Enthusiastically encouraging this one to come in for an interview. Or even like just giving you the job, telling you to come and start on probation, whatever. Visualize then what it looks like in the workplace. What kind of outfit do you have to wear? What's your uniform like? How much do you receive per month as your payment? What kind of benefits do you get? How will your lifestyle change as a result of this employment? What is it going to mean for your lifestyle? Visualize yourself getting up for work every day. Everything about your outcome, visualize it. So, your number is 15. I'm going to put those numbers together and give you 6. Yes. 6 when relating to Earth. It talks about relationship. It talks about forming a new connection and interacting with existing relationships in order to get past your previous limits. So this basically is saying that what you can look out for to know that your spell is in process is a relationship, a new connection with someone who's going to give you some key information about how you can get into a government position, someone who is perhaps already in a government position and can recommend you, something of that nature. So you've been doing what you can to get a government job. Now there are still limits on how much you know, how much experience you have, what kind of resources you have at your disposal, but then there's going to be this connection with someone and you're going to interact with them and they're going to interact with you, and through that interaction you're going to overcome those limits you had before, and they're also going to overcome their limits. It's going to be a mutually beneficial exchange, and it'll bring you closer to your position as a government employee. And when it comes to finances and wealth, I think a good astrological principle, planetary frequency to call in here would be Jupiter. Jupiter's all about security. So yeah, when it comes to work, security makes sense. So there is your single point of focus for all of these things. Now I want you to draw that. You can take a screenshot of it here, or you can come back to the video later. It doesn't have to be exactly the same or identical. Just want you to draw it so that your own personal frequencies and energies are in that image. And yeah, then you just visualize it in as much detail as you can. Every now and then, imagine it's a living creature that follows you around like a pet. And what it's doing is making sure that you are presented as an ideal candidate for government and municipal employment, and brings you one step closer to that every time that you see this image, until it's manifested, and then you can forget about this image. Queen of Cups, you're quite far on the queue, so I do these in pairs. You can tally how long it's taken me to do one, and you were number 6 or number 5, so you'll be the third pair, part of the third pair. So Ali, I'm thinking your affirmation can be, I am the energetic match for healthy, balanced masculinity. I'm the ideal match for balanced and healthy masculinity. I am the energetic match for healthy masculinity, and I attract this archetype. Yeah, okay, so your affirmation will be, I am the energetic match for healthy masculinity, and I attract this archetype. Then you say that out loud and affirm, so mote it be. Amazing, thank you. Venus is the astrological principle that I'll bring into this. So, at this point, Ali, you can do the same as what I suggested for Priya, and you can focus on your outcome, visualize it in as much detail as you can. What does it look like? What does healthy masculinity entail? What does your relationship look like? How does your reality change? Your lifestyle, how does it change as a result of receiving that desire? Put yourself in the shoes of the healthy masculine archetype. Visualize him just going about his daily life. Put yourself in his shoes when you're in a relationship with yourself. What does it look like? Visualize the bed you share, the house you share. Imagine what kind of dates you'll go on. Imagine the deep, sensual, intimate, sexual relations you'll have with him. Yes, allow yourself to become aroused by that thought. You're a water sign, and your number here is 8. And the number 8, when it comes to water, is shifts and changes in your emotional being. So that's your key, specific to you as an individual. Making the conscious decision to learn new ways to interact with your emotions. So that's something you can look out for, something that you will know has brought you into the fruition of the spell, is when you look back and you say, hey, the way that I just handled that situation is worlds better than before. In the past I might have reacted negatively to that kind of trigger, but this time I chose to do something creative. Basically, changing from your current energetic frequency into the ideal match, the ideal energetic match for the healthy masculine archetype. That would mean shifting into a fuller, a more complete embodiment of healthy femininity. And this shift brings about balance in your life. You'll have balance between how much emotional value you receive, how much emotional support you receive from those around you, and how much you give. So it might be that you are constantly looking for emotional support, and giving a lot of emotional support to other people because you want that from people, and there being an imbalance, you ending up giving a lot more, trying to be the example of what you want to receive and not receiving the equal proportion of what you're giving. So the shift will look like a balance between that. You'll no longer be deliberately putting yourself out there for other people to your own detriment. And it'll be a lot more balanced and healthy for you. You won't feel drained by that kind of experience, and it will come back to you as much as you give out. And then, yeah, as I said, Venus is a good planetary frequency to bring into this. Venus is all about relationship and love, sensuality, femininity. So there's your focus point, your Servitor. So like I was saying earlier, you're going to draw that for yourself, take a screenshot, draw that for yourself, visualize it every now and then. It follows you around, it's a living entity. It is constantly moving you into the energetic match for healthy, balanced masculinity, making you attractive to that kind of archetype, that kind of man. So once you have a Servitor, you've got to activate it, you've got to power it, you've got to bring up emotional ecstasy. Basically, you want to bring up all of the emotions that would be attached to the kind of frequency that you're trying to manifest. Positive emotions, naturally. In the case of something like wealth, it would be that like zealous, determined sense of like zealousy almost. What will you do with the money? So why do you want the money? What is that driving passion, that feeling of driving passion that makes you work towards earning money? And then when it comes to relationship, that is feelings of love and support, feelings of arousal, all of those kind of emotional currents. You will summon them up and you'll channel them into your image. But that's time consuming. To summon up emotional energy like that is very time consuming. So last week Monday I made this little potion here. The potion itself is just a symbol. It's some fruit seeds, some rainwater, and ashes from a page much like this that had intentions written on it. And then I had all of these ingredients separate, and I summoned up all of my emotional ecstasy and channeled it into this image here on top. The intention behind that is to capture and retain energies that are directed at it for later use. And yeah, so I'm gonna use of this energy now to power your spells. Tisiana Atrakara Eyana Manaisa Ami. Siakradana Maste Giota. And this flame is literally a symbol of our intentions. So this is reality. And now we're going to apply our intentions in order to warp and transform reality in accordance with our desires. I have a fire safe dish here on the floor, so don't stress. Alright. Haha, Queen of Cups says you're a fun human. Thank you for that recognition. Sindel is asking me, is there a spell to get out of debt? Well, we can cast a spell with that intention. We'll see what happens. The servitors, and the planets, they find the most direct means, the most direct path from where you currently are to your outcome. So in the case of debt, the direct means might look like having your debt scrapped. The direct means might look like giving you the exact amount of money that is required to pay off the debt. But then the universe won't do that if you have proven yourself untrustworthy in the past with funds. Like if you've asked for money to pay off your debts and then the universe gives you money to pay off your debts and you spend it on something else, then the universe is going to be like, not am I going to trust you again. You're most welcome, Ali. Thank you for joining me today. When you get what you desire, please don't forget about your sorcerer. Yeah, Queen of Cups, it works like that, eh? The universe, it's not the end of the world if you fuck up. So if the universe gives you what you desire and you fuck it up, then the universe won't be so eager to give you things in that much abundance. It'll give you smaller tests to see if you've grown and changed and recognized yourself. So if the universe gives you $1 million and you blow it, the universe is not going to give you another $1 million, but the universe might give you $100 and see what you're going to do with that. And if you invest that well, maybe you'll get 1,000 next time. You know, you see what I'm saying? So next up is Jelena and Shilpa. So guys, I see Shilpa's already put in birth date. Jelena, just looking for your birth date and your desire. Shilpa wants Manohar's parents to accept her and her marriage to Manohar. So So Jelena, I need your birth date, well, your month and the day, and then I need your desire, what it is that you want to manifest. I think you said something about love. 25th of the 7th. Amazing. I like that spell. Welcome, Nina. Nice to have you. Love to see new names and new faces in the stream. Don't want to scare you guys, but I definitely feel like the universe brings you all here for a reason. You know, every one of you that comes here into the stream to receive the value that I'm here to give. It's like I was having a chat with the universe and the spirits, and I was like, yes, I'm feeling really miserable today, but I understand that you have given me power because I'm a steward, and there are people that you're sending who are here to receive that energy. Energy has to flow, and so if I hope to retain what I've been given, I must allow it to flow to those who are sent to receive. There's a whole fuck ton of roosters. They need to get eaten. They gotta get eat. Probably Saturday. Probably put them all in the freezer on Saturday. Alright, so Nina, go ahead and ask your question, but I'm not giving away readings, just confirming that you're not asking for a reading. Welcome, Tweety! Awesome to see you, thanks for joining. So, what kind of affirmation am I going to put down for Shilpa? Manohar's parents appreciate his happiness and grant their blessing to this marriage, regardless of how they feel. So, that is your affirmation. I want you to speak it out loud and affirm so mote it be. And that is, Manohar's parents appreciate his happiness and give their blessing to this marriage regardless of how they feel. So mote it be. So Shilpa, you say your birth date is on the 3rd of the 3rd month, which would make you Pisces, but then you affirm they're Capricorn. As I understand, the 3rd of the 3rd month is within, the sun is within Pisces, so yeah, I don't understand that inconsistency. Do you live in the southern hemisphere? No, it wouldn't even matter. The sun is just moving out of Capricorn right now, where I am, so you couldn't be Capricorn, even if you're in the southern hemisphere. A good frequency, planetary frequency to bring into this would be Mercury, Venus, Saturn and Mercury, I think, or Saturn and Venus. Saturn and Venus. Saturn is about structure, creating order, and then Venus is about relationships, so it makes sense. Okay, so Shilpa, I want you to now visualize your outcome. How does it look? You know, put yourself in his parents' shoes. Imagine their thought process, imagine their resistances and how they feel about this marriage, but then imagine also about how they value their son's happiness. Imagine them having a conversation in private where they agree that they will give their blessing even if they don't actually feel like this is the right decision. They will give the blessing because they appreciate and respect him as an individual and respect his choices. That they will support him in what it is that he wants to create, and the life he wants to create, and who he wants to create it with. And then visualize your marriage, visualize your wedding day, visualize your new in-laws. Imagine them warming up to you and getting along with you and getting along with your family. You guys all warming up and your relationship growing. And visualize what your married life looks like as you live with Manohar. What does he do for a living? What do you do? Imagine the house that you live in. Imagine the bed that you share. Your key is 8. And it's to do with water. It's interesting, the last water sign also got 8. So that's about adjustment. It's about going through a shift. And that shift is in order to create a balance between how much emotional support and value you receive versus how much you give. And yeah, it looks like changes that are happening not only in you but also in his parents. The key is for you though. It's saying that they will start to recognize your value and what kind of positive impact you have on his life, on Manohar's life, as they witness this shift taking place in you, when they see you growing and maturing in your emotional being, where you can recognize when it's a good idea when it's not a good idea to react to your emotions. So if they're saying something that you don't agree with, knowing when to hold your tongue. If they're saying something that makes you feel uncomfortable, not saying something passive aggressive, instead choosing to say something constructive. Even if they're being nasty, if you're turning it around and you're saying something healthy, that kind of example is only going to make that relationship stronger. It's only going to change their perception of you. And basically that's your key, that's the means, that you move from where you currently are to where you desire to be. It's to go through that shift. Now that shift is what you coming here into the stream and asking for this spell is you making that conscious decision to go through that shift, and that is what's necessary. Once the spell is cast, that shift is going to happen whether you're trying or not. So you'll be able to tell that the spell is working when you're able to look at yourself and say, hey, I've actually really matured and grown in my emotional self. I handle difficult emotions way better than I used to. And yeah, that'll be your like halfway point or your indicator to say that your spell is working. So there is your focus point, your sigil, and you're gonna take a screenshot of that and draw it. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exactly the same. You're just gonna draw it out best you can, and then every now and then you're gonna visualize it and think about it until you have gotten what you desire. Once you've gotten what you desire, you can throw it away and forget about it. Until then, you're going to visualize it occasionally. Imagine it's a living creature, a pet almost, a guide that follows you around and nudges you into that shift, encourages your growth, brings you into balance. And it also communicates with his parents and puts little thoughts in their head that are in your favor. Makes every new interaction between you and them a favorable one that improves your image and makes them more likely to agree to the wedding. Now, Jelina's affirmation. So Jelina, I'm thinking for your affirmation, my ex recognizes, or my ex is aware of all that he lost through our separation. My ex is aware of all that he lost through our separation and desires to reunite. I'm going to say that again, and then you say it out loud and affirm it with so mote it be, or amen. My ex is aware of what he lost through our separation and he desires to reunite. So mote it be. And then Leo is a fire sign. So Jelena, I want you to visualize your outcome. Think about your ex. Put yourself in his shoes. Imagine all the pain that he feels. All the pain he feels being separate from his child. Imagine all the pain he felt at losing everything that you two built together in your relationship. Imagine how much it hurts him when he says nasty things to you. He believes he needs to say those things, but they hurt him so much to say them. Imagine what it would look like if he had to reach out to you and apologize, and ask if you could start over and start dating again and get to know one another again. Imagine what it would look like when you're reunited, how the family life would look, and how long it would take for your daughter or your son to reintegrate with him in their lives. But how much value would that not bring to your child's life and to his life, your ex's life, for them to be in one another's space, never mind the two of you. Imagine the lifestyle change that you'll have to undergo once he is back in the same living space with you, or once you're back in the same living space with him. Imagine what that looks like. Does he move back in with you? Do you move in with his mother? Or do you guys move in together into an entirely new place? So I have 5. 5 when it comes to fire. When it comes to fire. Well, 5 is about becoming the example you want to see. It's about applying your knowledge and your resources to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And then fire is about desire and intention and passion. So I guess that your key, in order to move from where you currently are into the reality that you desire, is then to become the example that you want, that you expect from others, that you never had. The example of health, like good character, strong motherly character, secure, loving, gentle, everything that you would desire. Become the example of it. Everything that you would desire from the relationship and from him, become the example of it. Apply your knowledge and your resources to the best that you can with what you know and with what you have. It's not like you can be a perfect human being overnight, but you can improve on your character based on the things that you do know and the experiences that you do have. So apply those experiences, apply that knowledge, and demonstrate the example that you desire, even if it's not perfect just yet. Just taking steps towards becoming the example that you desire, applying yourself as best you can. And then once again, Venus. We're going to bring Venus into this. So Tweety asked me something about resistances to spells, and Nina asked me something about how does she know for certain if she's enchanted someone. I'm gonna have to scroll back up in the chat to find out what those questions were, guys, but I'm happy to answer them. Okay, Jelena, there is your focus point, your servitor. Draw him out, take a screenshot, draw him. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, doesn't have to be perfect, just draw it out best you can. And yeah, then visualize him every now and then. Visualize he's alive, and that he encourages and brings about the maximum potential within you, so that you can be the example that you desire. And he also, whenever your ex is feeling low or is feeling bad or guilty about the absence of your relationship or the absence of his child from his life, then the Servitor, it gives him little hints saying, hey, you know what you can do to fix this. You know what's required of you. Nudges him slowly in your direction, little by little. Once you have what you desire, you can forget about this image, you can forget about the Servitor. And now to charge them. Itraiadro nell'ili lavi. Che assaiuhan. Monana era. Amin. The flame is your intention, our intention. The page is reality. And now we transform reality in accordance with our desire. The video will stay here, Jelena, so you can always come back and check the video after the stream has ended, screenshot it and zoom in. It doesn't have to be perfect. The only thing that's important is that you draw it so that it goes into your own mind. I see that Ali asked me how long does it take. for a spell to manifest, and the answer to that question is anywhere between instant and several months to a year. When it comes to these executable servitors, and when I cast them for myself, depending on how much power goes into it, I've seen them manifest in a day. Where I manifested, what I cast for was $1,000 in order to pay for several months of data and a new computer that I could use to start online work. And within 24 hours I had both. And the way that came to me is I got a computer, just a box. I already had a monitor, I got a box, and that box wasn't working, but I had everything that I needed to make it work. And someone who owed me like a portion of the $1,000 paid me back, and then before the day was done, I was asked to come and house sit for the neighbors for several days, and the amount it made up the difference to the $1,000. And then there's been other times where I've cast a spell and it's happened literally in that moment. In that moment that I cast it, I saw the results manifest. And then there's been other times where I haven't even noticed, where I've forgotten all about the spell, and then I've been looking through my journal and I see, hey, I cast a spell for that. Oh my god, that was like 5 months ago. But here it is. And you said a specific person comes to mind while visualizing. Does this mean something? Yes, it most certainly does. It means that that person is in the list of healthy masculine archetypes that you perceive to be healthy masculinity. Queen of Cups says, someone told me if I saw something good in someone I should speak it. Yeah, and another little tip I can give you there is, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So Nina then asks, how can I know for sure that I enchanted him somehow? So, I don't know. I don't really know how I can be sure. Like, if I hypnotize someone, it's pretty obvious, because then they do anything that I command them to do in that moment. There's like a small window where they lose their conscious mind, like gets diffracted, and then any command that gets issued in that moment, they perform it. So that kind of enchantment is pretty obvious. And then I guess the only other suggestion I can give you is to look at how they used to behave around you before, and then look at how they behave now. If you did something to enchant them, then you can be pretty sure that that is the result of your enchantment. So oftentimes spells look like coincidence, just like I described with the computer and the money. I could have said, yeah, it's coincidence, but when you do this, when you cast spells regularly, and every time you cast for something, a coincidence happens that brings that thing into your present, then yeah, you start to ask the question, is coincidence even a thing? Or is coincidence like a lie? That was my mantra for that whole year. Coincidence is a lie. So the ability to arrange coincidences is pretty much what magic is about. And so if you've made an effort, whether physically like hustling for that effort or doing spellcraft or meditation for that coincidence, if you've made an effort to see it realized and then a coincidence happens, then you are pretty much responsible. Even if you're not solely responsible, you are responsible for that coincidence. Then Encourage Love and Friendship says, are you still doing spells? I've still got space for like 2, 4, 6, 8 spells. I've done 4. I know that there were 6 last time I checked, and I've seen a couple new chaots join, so yeah, if I've done 4, then 2 plus 2, that's another 4. Yeah, just type hashtag chaot, you know, if I run out of pages, then I run out of pages. That's what I set for the stream. And you can type hashtag chaot to get into that queue to receive a spell. Queen of Cups says, is spellcasting sometimes just literally saying the words, like spelling it out? Yep. So some of the most instantaneous manifestations I've received, they got cast or spelled through the form of a prayer, where I was just feeling a lot of emotion, didn't know how to cope with it. So then I asked the spirits in the universe and my God, I asked for certain things to change, and immediately those things began to change within myself and within the people around me. Queen of Cups says, how do I pick which planet frequency to bring in? How do I do it? Well, the planet frequencies, they're associated, they're symbols, they're associated with the gods that they're named after, and the elements that actually form up the planet. Each one of those is a symbol. So you can pretty much deduce and divine the frequency based on all of those things. Like, have a look at Mars. It's comprised mostly out of carbon and iron. Those are pretty hard elements, and pretty dense elements. And then iron is often associated with willpower and strength and endurance. So Mars is also a god of war and strength and will. So you get where I'm coming from. The symbols of the planets are pretty self-explanatory. And then Tweety says, if a person casts a spell that depends on a lot of factors, causes a lot of resistance, what would happen? What would cause more power? Would that cause more power to drain or just stop working? Okay, so the only kind of variables that are going to create resistance for you are yourself, doubts, lust for result, attachment to outcome. Things like that will create resistance to your outcome. So the emotional energy that you power it with, that is the key. That is what allows the universe to just bring it to you in a flow. If you are then going on to summon up all kinds of negative, difficult, opposing emotional frequencies, then you're going to shred that frequency, that network of energy you've just created. Counterintuitive, like you put love here on one end and then put hate on the other end, it just balances it out, it pulls it back into neutrality. So if you were trying to heal somebody and then you summoned up all that kind of love to do it, and then immediately started feeling all kinds of hatred for that person, you would nullify what you were doing. Welcome, Leah. Thank you for joining me and supporting my streams. Much appreciated. And welcome, Dallas. Thank you for joining the stream and supporting me. Much appreciated. And then I hope that you received all of your content, all of the recordings, and yeah, all the work that was done for you last night. Interested to hear some feedback? Would love to hear that feedback in direct message, though. I mean, welcome to chat about it here openly, if you prefer. Jelena says, thank you so much for everything. I got the screenshot. Even my anxiety got down a little from listening to you. That's really awesome to hear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that feedback and letting me know. Queen of Cups says, I think it's the best time where you forget about it. Yeah, that's just like fire and forget. You cast your spell and then you occupy yourself with mundane stuff, and you just take your mind away from that sphere of thoughts and emotions that you just summoned and created. And the point of that is just to minimalize interference, minimalize resistance. So Tweety says he's confused about the word executable in Servitor. I actually googled it but couldn't find anything. So if you have a look for Servitor, chaos magic, sigil magic, you'll find more information about what we're doing here. But the reason I include executable is because to me it's very much like programming. I'm bringing all of these different frequencies in and I'm bringing them down into a single executable file. You know, like you write all this code out and all these parameters for your application, and then you have to have a single file to execute all of those codes in the order that you specify. So that's kind of what the Servitor is. The sigil, once it's created, it's that single point of focus that, once charged, executes all of those intentions and all of those frequencies that have been programmed into that single point. Queen of Cups says, how do you do that kind of enchantment? Okay, so I'm not so keen on talking about hypnotism in the public stream. It's quite a controversial thing. So I do plan to give courses on fundamentals of chaotism, but I need to start with the liberation of the soul and energetic infections, because if a person hasn't gone through that process of identifying themselves and their wounds and healing those wounds, then to give them more powerful information like hypnotism and other things, it would be irresponsible of me. They would hurt themselves and others with that information. Queen of Cups says, I've been filling my head with doubts. Any suggestions on how to get rid of those doubts? Yes, acceptance. Accepting the thing that you are afraid will happen. Accepting the possibility of the reality where, so if you've done something and you doubt its effect, accept that reality where it's a possibility that you failed. Prepare for that reality. Accept it and prepare for it. Continue to hope that that's not the case, though. Continue to visualize the preferred reality. So Queen of Cups is next, and Jennifer Kennedy. That's the next pair. So now, Queen of Cups, you can give me your month and date along with your desire. And Jen, same thing please. Your month and date, the month and day you were born, and your desire, although I think you did give it to me, but it's quite a ways up at this point. Having a look, having a look, having a look. There it is. 11th of September. And your desire is to have the truth to be reflected in the police report for my recent accident. Soon enough to get my car towed to the shop this week, and repairs and rental car to be covered by the insurance of the person who hit me, hit and ran. hit and ran the red light. Thank you so much. Okay, so what shall our affirmation be for Jenny? Queen of Cups, still waiting for your dates, for your month and your day and your desire. Trying to reword this statement, this desire, into an affirmation for you, Jen. All deceit is abolished in time for insurance cover. All deceit is banished in time for insurance cover. So mote it be. Please state it out loud and affirm. All deceit is banished in time for insurance cover. So mote it be. And then Queen of Cups says, I'm Taurus and I would like to connect with my Sagittarius romantic interest. I like him to want to move in with me and do it, and then to have a long-term relationship, fulfilling, happy marriage with him, where both of us grow and give love and understanding to the relationship. So interesting, you know, I'm Sagittarius and my partner is Taurus. And we live together and we have a happy and fulfilling relationship where both of us grow and give love and understanding to the relationship. Just so synchronous. This Sagittarius recognizes our compatibility and desires long-standing healthy commitment. Is it still frozen? It looks like it is still frozen. Oh, I know what's happened. Wait, never mind. Yeah, no, it is frozen. There's still chat. You can still hear my voice, but the camera is frozen. Let me write your affirmation and I'll sort that camera out. So your affirmation is, this Sagittarius recognizes our compatibility and desires long-standing committed relationship. Long-standing healthy commitment. This Sagittarius recognizes our compatibility and desires long-standing healthy commitment. So mote it be. Yeah, I'm gonna sort out that camera now, as soon as I've written this down. Okay. Please speak the affirmation out loud, Queen of Cups. You see the picture of me with a pencil thinking. I'll be back shortly. Please bear with me, guys. At least it didn't freeze on me looking really weird and you know, sometimes when you pause a movie the actors are looking really weird. I don't look so bad in that image. sorry about that. I'll be more vigilant in the future. I didn't plug it in, it's all wireless, so batteries started to die. Okay, so the Sagittarius recognizes our compatibility and desires healthy, long-standing commitment. All deceit is banished. In time for insurance. Tweety says, I'm also confused about forgetting, thinking of as a living creature, the sigil. Maybe it's more like don't stress about the goal, but just picture the sigil instead. Yes, the Servitor, the sigil, is powered by it's powered by your attention and your thoughts and your focus and your emotions. So yeah, once you have the sigil, all of that conscious, all the stuff we imagined in our conscious mind is now programmed into that sigil. So even if your conscious mind doesn't recognize it, your unconscious does. So every time that you see it, all of those frequencies are being fed with your attention, and it does literally become conscious. It does. There are planetary frequencies involved, and the planets are conscious. So it does develop a consciousness of its own. It's very basic, and it uses that in order to accomplish your desire. And then when you forget about it, you starve it of your attention, it ceases to exist. You're having some difficulty understanding which part? But anyway, I think Jennifer is an earth sign, you're both earth signs. So Jen, now I need you to visualize, imagine your outcome, think about any possible reality where the truth is there. The police report comes back, they see clearly that, yeah, there's no doubt that you had right of way and the other driver was in the wrong, driving over a red light. Your insurance has no choice except to pay you out and cover your damages, and anything they're not prepared to give out, your offender is responsible for. And that everything solves itself as if you go back to a state of reality as if it never even occurred, probably even better off than before. Imagine being in the position of the guy who ran the red light and how much he's afraid to take responsibility, how much he's afraid to have to go into debt to pay for your damages. Imagine why he would lie. Imagine something happening. Imagine his conscience tells him he has to tell the truth, and then something happens where he comes into a deposit of cash that makes him by the means to act on his conscience. And so then he speaks up truthfully. Just imagining multiple realities where the truth comes out and deceit is banished. Because, yeah, we have to visualize the outcome. The universe will bring our desire into our present in ways that we couldn't even dream were possible. But we still got to visualize the outcome. Here's your key. It's 8. And 8, when it comes to Earth, is very much the adjustments, the shifts, changing your physical position, your financial position, in order to create balance in the situation. So the outcome, basically this key is saying, yeah, it looks very much like him coming into the funds that's necessary in order for him to act on his conscience. And you as well. You coming into the financial gain that's necessary for you to cover all of the damages without having to dig into your own pockets at all. Whether that comes through insurance, whether that comes through him, whether or not the deceit is banished, the means to pay for your damages is going to come to you one way or another. A change is happening in your physical space. It's going to make it possible for you. So it might not look the way you're imagining, it might not even look like what you asked for, but you're going to have the means to cover your cost. You're going to have the means to, cover your cost. All of it. And then there's another tip that this has for you. It is saying channel your emotional energy. It's saying direct it. Don't lose your shit over things that he says, over things the court rules. Contain the emotional energy no matter how intense it is. I think when you asked for me a reading about this thing, it was the exact same suggestion, was keep your energy contained, say things that are constructive, say things that are healthy, regardless of whether you're being gaslit or no matter what. You keep the energy contained, don't react to it. And then Jupiter and Saturn collectively for this one is perfect. So there's your Servitor gen. Screenshot it, draw it, visualize it. Doesn't have to be identical. Visualize it every now and then. Imagine it's alive. Imagine it's working to make sure that you get whatever you need to cover your costs, no matter how it gets there. And it brings the truth out to those that matter. Why Jupiter and Saturn? Well, Jupiter is about security and Saturn is about systems and structure. So we want security to make sure that she has enough to pay for the damages one way or another. We want security in that, in the physical reality. And then we want to clear deceit, and we want to clear blockages out of the law, out of the system. So Queen of Cups, we want to visualize your outcome now. Visualize you're in the position of your Sagittarius interest. Imagine he reaches out to you. Imagine he makes a connection with you and sends you a message, starts flirting with you, starts giving you hints and pointers that he's interested, asks you out on a date after a few days of texting, few days of calls and texts. I haven't drawn you a sigil yet, Queen of Cups. I want you to visualize your outcome first. I need to gather that frequency, I need to gather that energy. Visualize what it looks like once you are on their date. What are you guys talking about? Where does it lead? How does it go? What do you eat? If you eat at all. Visualize what it looks like when he moves in and what kind of lifestyle shifts you'll have to go through. Imagine having to consider someone else when you're budgeting. Consider someone else's priorities and needs when you're budgeting, buying gifts for him, receiving gifts from him. Visualize the bed you sleep in. Is it your bed? Is it his bed? Visualize the apartment or house you live in. Is it your house? Is it his house? Is it an entirely new house? Visualize those steamy, intimate sexual encounters between you and him. That deep intimacy. So we have 9 for you and your Earth. So 9 talks about it's your key, it's your means to step into this new reality of your desire, and that is to reflect on your health, your fitness, and your security. That's financial security and home security. Your self-care routine, reflect on all of these things. Reflect on how these things have impacted past relationships. How has your health and your health habits and your eating habits, your diet, affected past relationships? Positively and negatively, where you've been in relationships where your diets have been compatible, and where you've been in relationships where your diets have not been compatible, where your health routines and exercise or lack thereof has been compatible or has not been compatible. During sexual encounters, where the sex has been great, where it hasn't been. Reflecting on how this impacted the relationship, all of these things, how your job, whatever it is that you do to secure yourself financially, or the absence thereof, whether it was yours or your partner's, employment or absence thereof, reflect on it and how it impacted the relationship, and whether or not it put strain there, and how you coped with it or how you succumbed to it. You want to do all of this self-reflection in order to recognize where you were at fault, and where they were at fault, and how you reacted to that. You want to basically take responsibility. You want to recognize and take responsibility for every fault, whether it was a reaction to theirs, a fault of theirs, or if it came from your side. You want to take responsibility for it, and you want to take responsibility for it because 9 is the end of a cycle. It's the last stage. It's the self-reflective period before a new relationship begins, and you don't want to be repeating your mistakes from the past in this new relationship. And then also you want to take responsibility for and acknowledge your successes and your constructive, the constructive and compatible aspects of yourself and your health and your fitness and your sex life and your finances. You want to see how that positively impacted relationships, and where you were successful in all those places, where you were constructive and supportive. You want to acknowledge both your faults and your mistakes so that you can reapply those same methods in the new relationship. You can reapply methods that brought success and growth, and you want to avoid making mistakes and being at fault in the new relationship. And for you, we want to bring in Mercury and Venus, although Mercury's symbol is kind of Venus's symbol with just little ears on it. But we want Mercury and Venus, because Mercury is to do with communication, expressing yourself, him expressing himself, and Venus is to do with relationships and sensuality and connection. Okay, so there is your sigil, Queen of Cups, your Servitor, you know the drill, screenshot him, draw him out, visualize him every now and then. He's a living creature, like a pet. You can even talk to him if you like, and he'll follow you around everywhere, and he will make sure that you are the energetic match for your Sagittarius interest. He will take away your anxieties about reaching out and communicating to your interest, and it will put little thoughts in his head that will encourage him to do the same. More than that, once the relationship begins, it will help uphold a healthy and consistent committed container where communication is free, and self-reflection and self-acknowledgement and self-responsibility is a key virtue for both parties involved. Welcome, Daniela. Nice to have new names and new faces, although I'm sure I saw you yesterday in our tarot reading stream. So welcome back. Kia sogrena vordo ayanama. Amen. Jetra simia lilivi Isa bocarum. Amen. I'm sure I've discussed this already. This is it's a fetish that's designed to capture and contain energies. So there are three symbolic ingredients in here. First being rainwater, to represent pure emotional current, and then fruit seeds to represent like a container for potential and energy, something that houses potential. And then there are ashes from a burned page, much like this, that had intentions written on it. So these spells are powered with emotional energy. But to sit and summon up emotional energy for each individual spell is quite a time-consuming process. So what I did last week Monday is before I went live, I sat and I conjured all of that emotional energy that I would have done for each individual spell, and I bound it to this fetish. And its purpose is to capture and contain energies that are directed towards it for later use. So I had all the ingredients separate, and once I had summoned all that emotional power, then I visualized this and stared at it while I put all the ingredients together. So, yeah. Now I dispense it. And the toothbrush is just a way to apply it, so I don't have to dip my finger in it each time. Or like pour it. Flame is the intention, paper is the reality, and the intention transforms reality in accordance with our desire. I just want to affirm that when two or more of us agree on the same outcome, it is given to us. What am I saying? You mean when I'm applying it? It's called Barbarous Chanting. It's where you just open your mouth and allow your tongue to speak whatever it wants to say. And the thoughts and emotions that you're experiencing and thinking are expressed, even if not in English. or in any kind of intelligible language for that matter. That's pretty cool that you feel wind. I mean, there are a lot of sensations that I feel. Like I can feel whenever I take that toothbrush out of there, I feel like this energy moving up and down my spine from my crown. It like swirls here and dips and rises. And then there are other moments, like when I'm speaking in that barbarous tongue, then I feel like this stirring or this warmth. It feels like heat in my core that like moves around in a circle. So, yeah, I have no doubt that you guys experience strange things while we're busy with this kind of work. So there was a Shane Walker. One. You can give it a name. I don't give any of them names. You can choose a name if you like. Encourage love and friendship. 2. But I think Queen of Wands, you are the only one left in the chat. These last 2 requests are gone, and I've been online for 2 hours, so I'm thinking that we can just like call it a day. When you get what you desire, please don't forget about your sorcerer. Please tip your sorcerer. Yeah, and also recommend me, you know, like if you know people who would be interested in this or would find value or are in need, please send them my way. There are a multitude of free services that I offer, and those are the free spells that I do on Monday, energy healing sessions on a Wednesday, and divination on a Friday and a Sunday. That's tarot divination and pendulum dowsing, but in the future I'm going to replace Sunday's tarot stream with Blackwater scrying. I'll give you more info on that as we draw nearer to it. You asked me, do I cast spells all the time? It's something that I do, you know. Not very often that I'm casting spells for myself. Oh, look at that, we've got encourage, love and friendship, but I'm closing the stream, I'm afraid. I've got other things that I need to do, and it's taking me longer to get here than I thought. I mean, I started later than I expected, and yeah, I've got to take a drive and do some stuff. Sorry about that, love and friendship. Yeah, my car is at the mechanic, so I'll take a drive there with the neighbors and pick it up, bring it home. So, Queen of Cups, you asked me, do I cast spells all the time? So last week I cast, aside from these live streams, because I'm doing that every Monday now, so apart from that I cast 2 spells for clients, for private clients, and this week I have cast 1 spell for private clients, and for myself I haven't done any like actual spell work. I don't really need any of these tools or to do any of this stuff anymore. All I have to do is visualize my outcome and channel that emotional ecstasy into that outcome, and it becomes so. So I do this for myself regarding how much I want to earn in a month. I do this pretty much every time I leave the house. I make sure that it's going to play out exactly the way I'm visualizing, that I'm going to get the prices I'm hoping for, and that the products I need are going to be where I want them to be. Yeah, equipment like this mic and that guitar over there, it all came in through those means. So I don't actually do any, I live magic, in other words. I don't actually spend my time casting spells like this, except for you guys. In my own life, if I say, hey, I need something, then I visualize having it, I power that outcome, and so it is. Anyway, does it always work out? When it doesn't, do you recognize the blockages? I'm trying hard to think of when it hasn't worked out. When hasn't it worked out? Sometimes I think it hasn't worked out, but then give it a little bit more time and it happens. So, yeah. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, if I see you on Wednesday. Otherwise, next week, Monday, Friday, Sunday. I don't know when you want to join me again. If you've got any ailments that you want to have healed or worked with, please join me on Wednesday. If you've got any questions you want to ask the universe and the spirits of the unseen world, join me on Friday and Sunday. And yeah, wishing you wealth and abundance, and manifestation of the new desires beyond your wildest dreams. I mean.